Gentlemen are fucking bullish. Bullish to the gills, bullish to the tits, whatever saying you want to use. We're bulled up. We're bullish. We're more bullish than the bull. We're more bullish than the Wall Street bull. Oh, shit. Bomba clot. I got the fucking audio cracking. All right, gentlemen. Another quick stream because we got to get right into business. We got to get right into action. We got to get right into the money that we're about to make, the generational run that's about to take place. Those of you who have been patient will be rewarded by large sums of money. And those of you who are cowards and cheated early and needed to pull out of the market to pay your rent and pay your mortgage and pay the car note, you fucking brokey. Over-investing as opposed to learning how to raise your income with me inside the Taylor's Code, or raising your income with me inside of my insurance brokerage, or raising your income with the network, the gentlemen around you can show you how to make money, right? If you simply would have increased your income to at least $30,000 a month, then you could have invested. You could have weathered the storm from the local bear market, and then you'd come out like a fucking hero on the other end. Isn't that the what's it called? Isn't that the paradox of it all? What makes it so funny? Because the rich get richer, and it's true. Why do the rich get richer? Because the rich have options. They can take advantage of opportunity. They don't get squeezed out of their long-term positions because they don't need that money to be able to live. The great paradox is the people who need to make the money the most are always going to have the most difficult time doing it because they need the money that they're going to invest to be able to live, to be able to pay their bills, to be able to fucking... So they're destroyed. They get decimated. So this is why it's so important for you to have an income before you worry about throwing 20 grand into a shit coin, right? Have an income. Be able to make money so that when we go through these periods of 7 months of down only, 7 months of reaccumulation, 7 months of now finally ripping again, you can handle that. You can wage that war. You can outlast the other market participants because you don't need that money to pay your rent. If you need an income, join the Taylor's Code. Get with me. I will either get you into the insurance industry with my brokerage, with my brokering company, show you how to make 20, 30 grand a month in income quickly. Or you get inside the Taylor's Code and you get with Bobby and you do e-commerce. Or you get inside the Taylor's Code and you learn how to trade. Do something for an income. But you're not going to be able to invest significant sums of money without an income. Right? We were just talking last night with a guy who was asking questions about, how much should I be investing every single month? How much Bitcoin should I buy? Ethereum? How much do I need to be able to retire, et cetera? All this stuff. And come to find out, he could only put in $2 grand a month investment because his income was like $6,000. The last thing you should be worried about is what crypto you should be buying. What you should be worried about is how the fuck do you make more than $6 grand in a fucking month? I make $6 grand in a day. In a day. You make that in a month. How the fuck are you going to invest? How the fuck are you going to outlast me in these markets? Income. 20, 30,000 a month. Start making like 30, 35 grand a month profit into your bank account. Okay, now you can start to maneuver a bit differently. That's when you first start making it's decent money. You can invest, you can have a decent car, you can have a nice spot, you can start to build off of that. Less than 30 grand a month, bro. You got to fix your income. Okay? Because $1,000 invested a month, is it worth it? Yes, you should still do it if that's all you can do right now, because it's still going to appreciate. But your number one priority should not be what meme coin am I going to be trading or getting multiples off of. Your number one priority should be what the fuck am I doing to make money? So with that being said, let's jump into the charts. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, pull this up for you. Okay, so a couple of things to take note of. Let's go on the weekly time frame. Let's hide a few of these things. Okay. So first thing to look at that's interesting with Bitcoin. Okay. 2017 cycle top. 2021 first top. 2021 second double top. Cycle ends. Bear market. Rejected twice. Broke through. Very interesting look. So this is the macro top, or the macro resistance for cycle tops last 3 cycles. So 1, 2, 3. Finally we break through. Significant level. Why? Well, obviously we just broke through resistance. Stick the landing up in here, which we did. We closed the weekly up above, confirmed breakout. We're still up above. We close this weekly candle above. Of course, we start ripping. I mean, we are ripping, but continue to go. Down here, the couple of times that we had snuck up above that resistance, rejected. We did not close the weeklies above. We closed the weeklies below. Closed here, or no. Closed here. Closed here. Closed here. Closed. So never broke through that resistance. Okay. So significant level, again, confirms, yeah, we're going higher. So that's confirmation, confirmed breakout. We love that. On the logarithmic scale, oops. On the logarithmic scale, so let's go ahead and hide that trend line. Let's go ahead and show our bull market trend. This is down, let's see. There's a bull market trend. Okay. Bull market trend on Bitcoin, still intact. Love that, right? We lost it here, false breakdown. Came back above, we're breaking out, okay? It's very good. Bitcoin confirmed, we're breaking out. Beautiful. Who could have foreseen this? Well, we could have foreseen this. Why do we foresee this? Global liquidity, okay? We're just going to go through the couple of things that I'm looking at on a macro basis, okay? Global liquidity is at all-time highs. This is M2 Global Liquidity Index. M2, this is the global monetary supply. How much money is getting injected into the economy, into the ecosystem across the entire world with the five major central banks. Okay, this goes up. That means more liquidity, more funds in markets, in the economy that can be invested. Bullish inherently. So we talked about this being a leading and lagging indicator. We topped out here. Top here. It's a leading indicator. Top, top. Bottom, bottom. Uptrending still. This is still uptrending. So we haven't necessarily topped yet. If we see a top here, then we're going to expect a top up in there. Okay, so that's what we're going to be watching for. Global liquidity has continued to move up. This is what I've been saying. Well, if liquidity is going up on a longer time frame, I'm still bullish. This cycle's not over. That's exactly what had played out. Okay, so we called it. We got it right. Beautiful. Took a while, right? Took 6 months, 7 months since the last top, but it happened. Cycle was not over. So global liquidity is still in play. Okay. So I just want to take a look at a couple things because we were talking about RSI, you know, how much further we can rip, etc. Well, let's look at Bitcoin on the weekly. And let's look at the RSI and what I think is going to happen here. So if we throw on the fibs, let's throw on these fibs. Cool. So these are the macro fibs on Bitcoin. Okay. Why is this the macro range? So, bless me. So here's the 4-year reaccumulation range on Bitcoin. We've been saying, okay, those of you who have been here for many months, I've been saying Bitcoin is the only asset in the crypto space, major asset, that had broken out of its 4-year reaccumulation range from last cycle and made new all-time highs. Ethereum still has not. Okay, so 2021 top, right? This is the 4-year reaccumulation range. hide a couple drawings on here. Okay. Has not broken out of its 4-year reaccumulation range. Solana, right? Cycle top, bear market low, has not broken out of its 4-year reaccumulation range. Still ranging. XRP still has not. Look. 21, 18, 17, 18. Still has not broken out to new all-time highs. Still within the reaccumulation range. Rejecting off of range highs right now. Okay? BNB. I'm showing you this because you got to understand the context of the macro cycle. BNB. 21 top. Look. 21 top. 4-year reaccumulation range. Has not broken out yet. It's trying. Okay? Top, top, top. Trying to break out. Go to this 1.618. Okay? So my point is none of these major assets have broken out. Bitcoin's the only one. Breaks out, hits the 1.618. Fantastic. Going for another breakout now. Next top from Bitcoin is at 156,000. The question is how quickly do we actually get there? So unlike this breakout where we had ranged sideways on Bitcoin for 8 months at the previous all-time highs, we had just consolidated right below the previous all-time high, broke out and went straight up to the 1.618 fib. Okay, we just went straight to the fib, and that's where we topped. So I'm watching this next fib because I'm saying, all right, well, if the first fib played, second fib's going to play. The only difference is the RSI is giving me a clue that we're not going to get straight there off of this breakout. We might, but I don't think so. So this is what I mean by this. And so when the RSI had topped out, okay, you come here, you top. So we break out at this level from the range high, the previous cycle all-time high. We break out, we go straight up into the 1.618. That's where we top. So the fib plays. This is what our RSI looked like that when we topped. Okay. So when we break out, our RSI going into the breakout was down in here. Okay, this level. Let's actually take a look. We actually may have something here. Okay, so the RSI was higher on the first breakaway candle, slightly. But we still have room to run on the weekly. All right, so live on stream, I'm noticing this now too. We actually, on the weekly RSI, have space to run straight to the 156,000. You guys may be shocked that we might be at 156,000 Bitcoin within a month or two. Okay? That's exciting. That's exciting because that means we've got some fucking fireworks on the way. Okay? It's very exciting. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. I'm getting some messages here. Okay. Very important message. Got to take a look at that. All right. Network important. Important people texting you. You got to respond. So this RSI has room to run on the weekly. So I could see us actually running if this gets, because I mean, look at the weekly RSI over here. Weekly RSI ran up like that. We didn't even hit that over here on the first top of the 1.618. Like we could very well fucking run this overbought like we did over here. We could very well get this overbought like we did in March 24 up in here and hit this 156,000 Bitcoin within the next couple months. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. So I would watch the RSI on the weekly. So now let's take a look at the daily. I want to see what the daily looks like. So the daily is a little bit different because we have So this was the March, April top right in here. This is what the daily RSI looked like. 1.618 top. Here's what the daily RSI looked like. So we still have room to run on the daily as well. Now, the thing with the daily, though, is we don't have room to run to 156,000. So there's going to have to be some sort of pause locally before we actually hit this 156. So here's what I'm thinking this looks like. Okay, because this would have to go completely overbought for us to run straight there. So I'm expecting on the daily time frame something like this. Okay, so we probably run it to about 130-ish, like up in here, and either pull back to like 120 and then run into like September. That would make sense. So July, August, September. Yeah, so I could see it running like this, kind of going sideways throughout August, bottoming in the middle of August, and then kind of just running into September. Why? Well, because you got to give a chance to the daily RSI to clear out a bit for us to have room to run again for that 156. The time frame on this one was just so much. No, it's about the same time frame. Because look, you broke out beginning of November. December was 1 month. Yeah, so this one moved a bit faster on the run up to the 1.618. This one might just take an extra month just because it's a bigger move up. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, let's see if it is a bigger move up or not. Come on, let's actually do the math. Let's see. 50%. It's actually similar. %. So it's a very similar move actually. So this could even happen in August. But I'm guessing August, September, you get this move up to 156. Okay. That might not even necessarily be cycle top at that point, but we'll see. Okay. Now, if you get that move on Bitcoin up to 156,000, right? Let's see. What's everything else going to look like? Well, altcoins and ETH are going to run hard. So ETH is well behind on ETH BTC pair. So it's a much lower price than what Bitcoin's at right now comparatively, right? So Bitcoin runs up to 156K. I'm seeing ETH breaking out to at least, at the minimum, this fib right here, 1.618 to about $5,700. Okay, $5,700 worst case scenario. You're gonna see ETH run to that. What? Oh my! What's this? Hold on. Here's what's interesting about ETH that we're seeing correlated in equity markets. In equity markets, we got S&P at all-time highs. We have the US 100 at all-time highs. We've got the Dow Jones almost breaking the new highs. IWM is what we want to pay attention to. So I've been talking about this inside of the Taylor's Code, showing charts in there. Here's IWM. IWM is the low cap shitco stock index. So when IWM is ripping, that is max risk on, running down the risk curve. People are taking profits on majors, rotating into lower cap assets, etc., just trying to capture more upside. IWM means risk fully on when this is at all-time highs. So if we throw Ethereum down below and see how they trade correlated, take a look at this. Hey, Bomba, open this fucking shit up. Why isn't it letting me fucking... Okay, fuck it. So here's IWM. August 18, all-time high. Okay? So pay attention to this. All-time high. We go into a bear market. Great. We break the previous cycle all-time high and we run. What happens to Ethereum? As soon as IWM breaks the new all-time highs and moves sideways, what does Ethereum do? Rips fucking face. %1,000%. Why is that? Well, because if everybody's going full risk on, liquidity is moving down the risk curve into lower cap assets. So you get the first move up on IWM, and then as this distributes sideways, so people are not taking profits, TradFi individuals are taking profits, it's moving sideways. This is distribution, and you go into a bear market. Okay? So you do distribution. As this is distributing, why is Ethereum pumping hard? Ethereum's pumping because as this is distributing and people are pulling out money and taking profits, they're rotating that down into Ethereum, down into Bitcoin, therefore pumping the prices of those assets. Okay? So we go into a bear market. ETH goes into what? A bear market. So IWM tops right here, calls the exact top for Ethereum. Okay. Calls the exact top for Ethereum, and then it breaks down because we're risk off now. Risk off means people get their shit out of the market. Okay. Bear market moves sideways, bear market moves sideways. IWM leads, moving up, tops here. What does Ethereum do? Moves up, tops here. So effectively calls the Pico top again. ETH is just a little bit lagged. Okay. So now what do we see? And by the way, it came back down and it retested previous cycle all-time highs. Right? Come up. Created this high from 21. Tags it. It's resistance. Breaks down. Comes back down to the 2018 cycle high. Now we're pushing back up. This is where the fireworks on Ethereum begins. The fireworks on ETH begins once you see IWM go into price discovery. S&P's already there. QQQ's already in price discovery. Dow Jones is close. Dow Jones is close. 100's in price discovery. QQQ, price discovery. Nvidia, price discovery. Coinbase, going for it. Robinhood, price discovery. Yep. So IWM is going to be heading towards price discovery. We get IWM into price discovery. You see Ethereum in price discovery. So we got a route for this chart to continue to head higher on IWM because they're correlated, heavily correlated. Risk on. What's going to get us to become more and more risk on in these markets? What will actually give us risk on conditions? We got to continue to see the DXY. The VIX get crushed into this level that I have drawn out. We want to see the VIX head into this level. We want to see DXY. Look at this. We just got to bounce on DXY, but we want to see DXY. Look at this. Who could have foreseen? Had these drawn out so long ago. Demand, perfect tag. Supply, perfect retest. Demand, we get a little bounce. We want to break down through into this level. So we want to see DXY continue to break down. We got to see this stay below 4.5%. Imperative. This needs to go down. ASAP. ASAP. We have to see yields break down. Okay, fine. Anyways, let's look at some more fun charts. So macro, we're very bullish. We got to get Jerome Powell out of the fucking Fed chair. Out as Fed chair. Let's look at some more fun charts. So we'll look at hype. Let's do it on a 2-day. Okay. Hype is clearly still the strongest altcoin in the entire market. So we want to have exposure to hype. Let's see what these guys are saying. Okay, so here's the move on hype. Strongest altcoin in the entire market. Low in April, straight up only. We tagged perfectly the 1.618, so it's respecting fibs, which is important for targets. Comes back down, retests the range high, turns it into support, Clearly, we're breaking out again. So now we're above the 1.618. As we run, these are the levels that I had built out for you. Fib confluence here, $65. So we're for sure going to go hit 65. And then the next targets would be between $90 and $100 on hype. So I could see hype going to 90 to 100 this cycle for sure. Why is this important? We're playing per. Per is the beta to hype. So what are we looking at on per? Per is holding this uptrend beautifully. Okay. Holding that beautifully. And we're going to start to see the rotation from hype into per. And I bet you it's going to happen here. This is where it's going to happen. You're going to see a massive rotation from hype into per at this level. Why? This is the local take profit zone for most massive holders of hype. Why? Because these are the fibs. So when hype gets to about $65 and it hits these fibs, gets to this fib confluence, I bet you as this comes in here and starts to distribute before the next move up higher, you're going to see that liquidity go where? Straight into per. What's going to happen to per? You're going to see per rip fucking face. Four and a half X, 5X, which is basically what I've been looking at from these levels, like a 5X. Soft toss 5X. Fantastic. So that's what I see happening with per. And why do I think that rotation is going to happen? Well, with most meme coins, this is why you can't get afraid of holding things over a longer period of time. When you see other assets outperforming, most of these meme coins and shit pair trade each other pretty well. So they're just going to outperform at different times. So here's the hype per pair chart. This is when you want to take a look at when to exit and when to enter into per, because it's the beta to hype. So it's going to get pair traded with hype. So this is what traders are looking at. They're looking at this chart. So let's go on the daily. Okay. So you can see it ranges. Primarily, these charts are going to range because traders are trading them, obviously. So you see how it creates a perfect range between the two. Yeah, looks good. So you see how it's a perfect range. So it comes into the range. Range highs, mid-range, come to the range lows, come to the range lows, range highs. So as this chart is moving up, hype is outperforming per. It means hype's a better hold. Okay. So we actually just broke out of this range, which is very interesting observation because now it's not pair trading within this range. Right now, hype is trying to lead per and break out higher, which means it's going to look like per is going to be underperforming for a bit. It's only going to be for this next leg up because what's going to happen is something similar to this. You're going to see this break out, right? Wherever it ends up going, right? I'm just giving you a general idea. And then you're going to see it go like this. Boom. And at least retest range highs. like fucking. And retest range highs. When you see this stop running and this nuke back down, that's when you're going to see per fucking pop. And that's when you want to be looking to exit. When you see the big pair trade take place, not just, you know, necessarily, let's see what this lady wants. My goodness. File to close, outstanding requirements, Yep. Okay. Whenever, just because you see per going up doesn't mean it's necessarily the right time to sell. The right time to sell is when you see the pair trade take place, the pair start to nuke. So when you see hype start nuking against per, and you see a lot of volume coming into per, that's whenever you want to make the decision, now I exit. That's when the outperformance took place. That's when the beta plays as a beta. That's where you make the most money. So again, you're going to see this chart moving up as hype runs up to this next fib. Okay. So you're going to see hype going up at a higher rate than per. And you're going to think, oh, why am I holding per though? I could have just held hype. I thought per was going to give me more multiples than hype. Correct. But give it a chance. You get to the next target. People start to distribute. People start to sell, take profit. They're going to rotate right into per. And that's when you're going to see this chart nuke as per starting to catch up to hype and value evaluation. If you're really lucky, this shit will nuke all the way down into here, into the mid-range, or come back into this range, which would be fucking sick. Okay? It's a very, just gave you a bunch of alpha right there. So that pair chart is going to be very important for us exiting. Pepe. Getting ready to absolutely fucking Senderovich, and Fishman. Double bottom. Major demand zone. Comes right back into it. Who could have foreseen? We had this drawn out before this ever came into this demand zone. Who could have foreseen? Look at that. Oh my goodness. Right into our demand. Right? Sideways. Boop. You're going to see this pop. Boom. Into here. This is your next demand. Which right now is supply. Overhead supply. You're going to see Pepe go bang. Slow reaccumulation, just like we were talking about with how Bitcoin's going to pop. Come back down into August. Run through September. There's Pepe. Pepe in September. 1.618 new all-time highs. That's the expectation. If that's what happens to Pepe, what do you think is going to happen to Brett? What do you think is going to happen to Andy? What do you think is going to happen to Wolf? That's what I'm looking at for on Pepe. A little sideways into the end of July. Top out at the beginning of August. Quick pause, right? Quick jeet. A little reaccumulation. And then just straight up. Right here. Bear case. What are some other good charts we were taking a look at? This is looking to break out. Okay, others. This is the altcoin market cap, alt season indicator when this is running. This is breaking up and out from this downtrend, similar to how we did here. You break out, up, downtrend, break out, build short to go long. This is a larger base than the base that we had over here. So this base, this short structure, falling wedge, is going to create more power to the upside. So if this short structure, this falling wedge, tiny little move here, created this blast to the range highs, I'm expecting this falling wedge, this move down lower as Bitcoin goes to 156,000. I expect this to land us up in here. Boom. Banger play. Banger play. Okay, and then what other pair charts was I looking at? Let's see. So we got ETH BTC finally trying to bottom. and come back up higher. This is BTC Nvidia, which we know when this starts to pump, right? Every time this rips, cycle top, we created our base here. We're moving up higher. BTC wants to start outperforming Nvidia. This is a very important chart as well. ETH Sol, or Sol ETH pair trade. Okay, this chart is going up. Solana is a better hold than Ethereum. This chart going down, Ethereum is a better hold than Solana. We've been in this upward channel for almost 2 years, a year and a half. Year and a half we've been in this upward channel. What's important about this? Build long to go short. Build long to eventually go short. This is the Ethereum part of the cycle. This is when all the hard work, all the time and energy spent into holding, accumulating assets on the Ethereum blockchain, this is when it all comes to fruition. Because now you're going to see Ethereum start to outperform all the other all the other assets in the market. So you saw this breakdown from this range high. Nuke. We lost the range. Nuke. 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 Into the end of the cycle. Ethereum's about to outperform viciously this leg of the cycle. Viciously. ETH BTC. Looking to bottom, right? Came in here. Still moving up to eventually come into this supply zone. I'm expecting this supply zone. You get this supply zone on ETH BTC, you're fucking loving life. Cool. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's essentially what I wanted to go over. Who could have foreseen? Parallel channel. See? Build short to go long. Build short. Stacked liquidity above. Broke through it. There's the energy to move up higher. Got a quick little flush here for the RSI because we popped up to like 123 overnight. Came all the way back down to like 119. Flush out some RSI. Flush out some leverage. Looks like we should run later this week. Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Outside of that, let's fucking rock it. Let's fucking rock it. Fucking big money on the way. Big money on the way on this next move. I just hope that... I hope you're not sidelined. I hope you're not sidelined. If you're not already inside the Taylor's Code, link is in the description. Link is in my bio. Go to thetaylorscode.com. Join as a professional, gentleman, hero. Get access to the private Discord. Get access to myself, the other gentlemen that we do business with, the other mentors that are in there making money, whether it's through e-commerce, through crypto, through the sales, insurance industry like me with my brokerage. Whatever it is you're looking to do, we'll show you how to make money. If you're just looking for a band of brothers, for brotherhood, loyalty, people that you can actually trust outside of just a job or outside of just your friend group, that you can actually make money with, that's the organization you want to be a part of. I don't even know. I don't need to do anything else. Just join, and I'll see you inside. I appreciate everybody that is inside and all the winners that we have right now, because it's you that makes the network valuable. It's the individuals that compromise the network, or that make up, that comprise the network. They're the ones who give it value. So only studs, only savages, only people who actually want to improve their lifestyle. No sad boys, no pussy, no depressed. Gentlemen, I'll see you inside. Mr. Producer, we got all them hoes. I said, Mr. Producer.